Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lost of Dead Space, and if you clicked on this video, then you have the same question that I have regarding if Cyberpunk 2077 is considered good or bad. This is a new series I started not too long ago, my first episode being about Fallout 76, and the goal is to find out whether these controversial games that everyone talks about are actually being represented correctly. Now, I have a perfect rating system that I have constructed myself, and it goes over the 5 categories of what makes a game. And at the end of the video, I will be rating each category 1 through 10 and giving the games as a whole a percentage given by those ratings, because who doesn't love seeing stuff get rated? Feel free to cry, moan, cuss at me, whatever you want to in the comment section below, or just give me your personal experience. Do you love this game? Do you hate it? Let me know. Let me know. Now, first off, before we even start, I want to address the problems that last-gen consoles and less than stellar computers are having. I 100% sympathize with anyone that got this game on last-gen consoles and on a computer that it cannot handle it. They should have never had this game on the stores for the PS4 and the original Xbox One. It should have been only available on Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, and Next Gen from the get-go, and on Steam or wherever it's sold should have a very detailed requirement page for your computer to run it properly, so you know for a fact if you will be able to enjoy it the way it's supposed to be played. I will not be talking about last gen when I rate this game, but if you did get it on last gen, I agree that the game is not good because it doesn't work to begin with. I personally think that what they should have done is push the game back another 6 months, polished it up to a point that is presentable, and only allow the Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, and next-gen consoles to download the game. If they would have done that, I wouldn't even have to make this video. But alas, they did not do that. So with all of that out of the way, I want to go over my 5 categories real quick, just so you know what we're going to be going over and rating at the end of the video. The first category is combat or gimmick. A gimmick game being a sports game or something like Candy Crush, which would take up the combat aspect of a video game. Anything that is a main focal point for a video game goes into this category. Next, we have story and world building, which is completely self-explanatory. Following that is online interactions, which is a big part of video games, but certain games do not use online interactions at all. This being the case, so we will be taking this out of the equation. Next to last, we have funness and why, which is where I will be going over all the good parts of the game and what makes it fun. And last but not least, the value and whole experience. Is it worth it? And yes, this time I have a spell checker. Thank you to everyone letting me know that I spelled a lot of stuff wrong in the last video. Just please give me a break. I never graduated high school, okay guys? Please, just give me a break. Just give me a break, okay? So first off, we have combat or gimmick. The combat in this game, graphically at least, is amazing. The reload animations, the sound, the clicking of the clips in the chambers, all the beautifulness. But there is an issue for people that play this game on console or just use controllers. On PC, I'm sure it's just like any other game, but I am not a keyboard and mouse user, so I wouldn't be the one to say. As someone that plays Warzone a lot, it's very obvious that they need a little help in the controller department. Not to say it's horrible, because it's not. You get used to it after a while, but it definitely could be better. But these are the guys that have only made third-person games so far that I know of. So this is a brand new mountain for them to climb. So what they do have is solid, but all I'm saying is you could have contracted out to people that have worked on like Call of Duty or something and maybe have them program the controller stuff. I don't know. That's, you know, just a thought. But once you get used to it, I wouldn't say it feels great, but you can definitely hit your shots. And some weapons do feel good, like shotguns, melee weapons, stuff like that. And there's even guns where you don't even have to worry about hitting your shots. If you got the right cybernetics, you can have compatibility with things called smart guns, which is very reminiscent of Titanfall, where you literally just aim towards a target and the gun does the rest for you. And when the graphics are this good, and they are good, I'm saying this is the best graphics I've ever seen in a video game to date, period. And when you have that, the combat just gets that much better. So moving on to story and world building. This story is amazing. It's been a very, very long time since I've been this engaged on a story. And I do think it has something to do with the cyberpunk aspect. This is something that I've never seen before. I know it's a thing. I've seen people dress like this before, minus the cybernetics and stuff. but it's a world that I've never experienced before in my life, so it's super fresh. The story is so unique, so different from other games. It's got a lot of love and time put into it. There was some things I saw coming 3 miles away, and there's some things that I would have never saw coming a million years from now. And that's good storytelling. After the title screen shows up, which is where a pinnacle moment happens, I was sold. My eyes were wide open like a baby seeing the world for the first time. I remember saying to myself, what the f is going on? And then it got stranger, and then it got better, and then it got even more strange, and then it got even more messed up. And the game doesn't tell you anything for like an hour, and the entire hour, I could only imagine what other people were thinking. So many emotions, so much confusion, but I couldn't have been more down in my life. As for world building, the city looks great. It looks like a city that could be real if our technology and everything went that direction. I could see the human race evolving in that certain way if that's how things were. There's so much background detail information, kinks, quirks. It's just great. It really seems like there was 8 years put into this game. I'm serious. All they needed was just an extra 6 months to fully polish the game and give people time to get the new systems to play correctly. Second to last, we have the funness and why, which is a word I came up with, so that is not misspelled. And there's not really much to say here. This is an RPG with a lot of love put into it. There's so many winding side quests that go all over different ways and directions. A couple of them turn into their own little story arcs that make it feel like you're playing a completely different game. I'd say the overall fun of this game is just how beautiful and different the world is. Driving in these cars that are both futuristic and old-timey at the same time, graphics that look out of this world, great quests, amazing story, fun combat with a great variety of weapons that increase in awesomeness the higher level you are, with different rarities and attachments, and even special legendary weapons that can range anywhere from a talking machine gun that disobeys you to Baraka claws from Mortal Kombat that not only adds to the fun, but it almost gives it a Borderlands feel when it comes to looting. And finally, the last category, the overall value and personal experience with the game. I 100% was blown away by my personal experience with this game. I did have the great fortune of playing it on a newer gen console, so I did not experience the tragedy that a lot of other people had to go through. Also, being a man that had zero hype for this game to begin with, who just played it because his brother bought it, it was a mind explosion. This game is easily worth the price point of a AAA game. I haven't really put that many hours into it, but I'm already going to put this in my top 20 and maybe even higher with time. Now that that is all out of the way, it's time to rate all of these categories 1 through 10 and give this game a percentage with the Lost and Dead Space stamp of approval. So first category is combat or gimmick. I will give the combat in this game a 8.0. And the reason being is, yes, it is not the best on a controller, but I know people playing on PC will most likely have no issues with it at all. Also giving it a loot and shoot feel with lots and lots of weapons and tons of legendaries and special things to find just makes combat even better. Is it better than The Witcher's combat? I don't know. I was never a huge Witcher fan, but I know that their sword combat was very comparable to Dark Souls. Maybe not, but it's still a very enjoyable game, and you do get used to the sensitivity over time. But an 8.0 is where it will stand. Anything higher will feel weird to me. Next I have story and world building, and I'm giving this a ding 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 a 10. I did not think I would ever be giving a game in this series a 10 for anything, but this game deserves it. The world building, you can tell it has years of tinkering and love put into it, and the story is just great. I've already talked about it enough, guys. You guys just need to try it on the new consoles. I know it's leave the bad taste in your mouth, but please give it a second chance. It really is worth it. I'm putting it at a 10, and I'm not backing down. Skipping online interactions, we go straight into funness and why. And I would say the funness of this game is an 8.5. There's a couple things bringing it down. One being the cars control like dog shit. Not complete dog shit like Watch Dogs, but almost. You get used to it. Driving in first person is very difficult, but looks super cool and super immersive. We're almost in the uncanny valley where stuff starts to look real, and it's just really cool. I love it. And it also gets taken down a little bit by the way it controls on a controller, because a lot of people play on a controller, and I cannot give this thing anything higher than an 8.5. There's a lot of ways to play this game. You can either level up your abilities, and you can sneak around like Agent 47 with God mode activated, blow up electronics and robots with your mind, pretend that you're in the Matrix, all that kind of stuff. And if you're someone like me that just wants to run in there and just blow some shit up, You can do that. And I love that ability to make different approaches to the game. Every single mission has a way of beating it one way or the other. So that's why I'm giving it an 8.5. So that leaves the overall value and experience. If we are excluding old gen, the value and experience of this game gets a 9. If all these bugs were fixed before it was released, I would have given it a 10. But that's just not what they did. So it gets a 9. The little here and there glitches, the little visual stutters and stuff, it's not big. It's not a big deal. It's a video game. I'm used to it at this point. To some people, it's a game breaker. It's like, oh, I'm not immersed anymore because the cigarette's floating in the air. Okay, whatever, dude. But, you know, it's a 9. Come on, it's a 9. Now, all of that put together and with my calculations done, this game comes up to a 93%. And when I did these calculations and saw this number, I thought, this is exactly where this game should be. I hope down the road the ratings get better for the game because I don't want the people who worked on this game for so long to feel like they failed, because they didn't. And if you had a problem with this rating because you got screwed, you have that right. And not everyone is going to love the same thing. Everyone's different. For instance, I don't like The Witcher, but I believe that it deserves the ratings that it got. It just wasn't my cup of tea, and that's okay. And there's going to be people that feel the same way about this game, like my brother, for instance. But I do urge everyone to try it, because coming from someone that had no hype for this game in the beginning to it being one of my favorite games, that speaks for itself. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends. Do you agree with my rating or not? Let me know down in the comments below. If you do, give that like, man. Subscribe. I'm going to be making videos like this all the time. When I don't make videos like this, I make videos about my fun times on Warzone, other shit like that. It's all good. I love y'all, and I see y'all in the next video.